Alright, so when you come into the studio, which you will enter and exit from the elevator, first to your right you'll see our student work table. These are some fun trinkets, sometimes unclaimed, sometimes just donations, so those are great little pieces that you can buy. And then you'll hit the front desk. The staff member who is on duty will typically be sitting here. This is where you can check in and also make all your purchases and get any questions answered that you have. If a staff member is not sitting here, they're usually back glazing or maybe in the kiln room. So feel free just to go ahead and set up, or you can come grab one of us back there. So this is our mug shop. Members can sell their things here. We've got lots of different types of things other than just mugs. So if you are interested in selling any of your pieces here in our mug shop, you can ask the front desk and we will have you fill out paperwork for an agreement to consign and get that all squared away. And also you can just come here for inspiration and to support your fellow artists. So we've got lots of hand building stations. All these different tables are available for hand building. We also have a big table over there where our youth instructor is working right now. And this is also where we can get ready for certain classes. As you can see, part of our hand building station is our 2 slab rollers. The slab rollers are used for members. You can come and use them. We have canvas for you to roll out your clay. What is important is to make sure that you are using the correct colors. So we've got brown written here for the brown clay or red clay, and we've got white written on the ones used for the white clay. So that is important to keep them separate. Alright, so over here where our member shelves are, you can get half a shelf to store all your things, and you can definitely move them around to open shelves if there is one that works better for you. And within our member shelves we have different supplies for you to use. We've got fans to help dry the clay, speed up the process, sandbags, heat guns. We also have these gift grips for trimming, and then this is where you'd find your bat pens for when you need to use bats, as well as squirt bottles of water and pliers. So those are different things you can use for the wheel or just in general your clay use. So this is our wheel area. We've got 8 or 9 different wheels right here. We have bats that you can use for heavier things. And remember that your bat pens are on that shelf that we showed with the fans and everything. And we also have boards for you to put your pots on when you're done and they need to dry. And we have more wheels back here. This is kind of where there's a classroom set, so if a class is going on, they might be back here. So we've got a bunch of wheels here and class storage. If a class is going on either inside here or outside there, one space will always be open for you to use as a member. And we also have our bags right here to cover your pottery before you're ready to trim and everything. So that will keep your things wet for when you come back a different day. So this is our wedging tables. We, just like the canvas for the slab rollers, we have these separated by color. So this one and then the big one on the end are for your brown clay. And then this one here is for your white clay. And we've also got these plaster boards. So the plaster, if you throw something or your clay is really wet and you're wanting to reuse it, you can put it on the plaster and it'll kind of dry it out, and then you can re-wedge it and use it. This is also where we will make our recycled clay that we sell to you guys for $10 rather than the high water bags that we sell for $30. So this is kind of that section, and we will move over to our recycle bins. When you are cleaning up, we have different spots for your sludge and your water. We've got the brown clay here, white clay, and the red clay. It's always labeled, so make sure to read that. So this one is our sludge. So you put your sludge in here first, separate, which is also what we use to recycle clay. And then you pour your water in here. So that's kind of that first cleanup process. So when you have dumped out your clay in the reclaimed buckets that we just went over, you will come to the sink. Now we don't want any clay going down the drain as much as possible. So we have a bucket always in the sink, and this is where you will clean your things. So the tools, your splash pan, your bucket, you will put these in the bucket, and you can use a sponge and kind of clean it and everything, get all the big chunks off. And you're going to do the same thing with your bucket. So it should pretty much be clean before you actually turn on water, and you can kind of rinse it off. And then you put your things to dry on the towel on the counter. And that is your cleanup process in the sink area. But we've got these sponges. So remember that this is a community studio. So pretty much rule of thumb, anything that has touched clay or glaze, anything mess you have made on the floor, the tables, the wedging areas, go ahead and wipe all those down with your big sponge. That is why we have them up here for you to use. In the corner by your sink is where all your tools are found. You are allowed to use any of these. We just ask that you clean them when you're done. So your sponges, your clay tools, your water buckets, and in both of these cabinets are your splash pans. So the white ones go with the white wheels, the yellow ones go with the yellow wheels. And then we have a whole area that you can use if you are here to camp out all day. You can make coffee, tea, we've got a fridge for food and a microwave. We do have the right to clean the fridge if anything is left in there for a long time. So we require that everyone waxes the bottom of their piece before they glaze it. So how you do that is we have a hot plate. All you have to do is plug it in, and there is a dial that turns up the temperature. Keeping it on warm will just melt the wax, so you just keep it on that and wait a few minutes. We also have these paintbrushes so you can paint on wax. We've got different forms to paint on, and we've got extra chunks to put in the hot plate if it gets low. We also have this cookie bowl. If you have a glaze that's going to be really drippy, or you're kind of nervous about sticking to the kiln shelf, you can put this cookie sheet in there, and Emily will put a clay cookie on the bottom, so that way it makes sure not to stick to the kiln shelf. So we have about 20 different types of glazes. They can either be done on the floor or on the table, but this whole shelf is where you have your tools. So we've got the wooden sticks to stir up the glaze, tongs, paintbrushes, bowls to do pouring. So this is kind of all your glaze tools. So when you get your stick, you will need to mix up your glaze, and you're not going to use the same stick in the bucket. So you will need to clean all your tools and your sticks separate when you're using different glazes. We have a separate sink for cleaning glaze material. So you will come in here, and very similar process. You are going to clean the glaze off in this bucket. We've got a little scrubber, so you're going to clean that off really thoroughly before you actually rinse it off, and then you'll leave it up here to dry. So this is our glaze cleaning room. Don't use the other sink. Okay, so when you are done trimming your different pottery and it is bone dry, then you will put it on this shelf right here. And so the studio staff will take your greenware and move it back to the kiln room. And we'll show you that in a second, but once it comes out of the kiln, it will be put on these shelves right here. So this is all the Bisqueware, and you have a month to pick it up, which is where these dates come in. So if will be removed by 10/21. So this shelf, they need to come and collect their things before then, or we put it off to the side, or might throw it away. But so you need to make sure that you are keeping up with this. You can always put it on your shelf, but once you've done this, you can glaze it. And then when you glaze it, then you put it on this shelf. And again, the studio staff will take it back to the kiln room to be fired. And then similarly to our Bisque shelf, your glazeware will be put on this shelf. And again, you have a month to take it home or put it on your shelf, or we will kind of clear it out. Alright, so these two rooms, our glaze chemical room and our kiln room, are for staff only, but we kind of want to show you guys what's all going on there. So in our glaze chemical room, we have all the different chemicals. This is where Emily or Mary Alice will make the glazes and add the water and everything for you to use. And then the kiln room is where we have our system of firing. So once we bring it from those shelves I was talking about earlier, we have a first come, first serve firing system. So we will put it in order of how it came and fire it in order of how it was put back here. So there is no specific order, just first come, first serve. We fire generally on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And we post a video on our members' Facebook page to let you know what has come out. So it might not be that your stuff has been fired just because it is no longer out there. So you just have to keep up on the Facebook page. And these are our kilns, where all the magic happens. So in this little hallway where our test tiles are is your bathrooms. And then if you turn right here, these are our offices. Joy's is pretty separate, but in my office is where if you are in a class, your stuff will be marked and put on specific shelves according to your instructors. So this is a separate storage area as well.